still standing taller than ever been, looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid.
Step into the spiraling chaos of a hip-hop titan's downfall, where a hospital bed offered a fleeting escape, only for police to drag him back to a prison cell, shattering his resolve and leaving him sobbing in a twist that has stunned the world. Sean "Diddy" Combs, once the untouchable king of Bad Boy Records, broke down in tears as authorities hauled him from medical care to the grim reality of detention, a moment that has peeled back the curtain on a man facing trafficking charges and a crumbling empire. What pushed Diddy to this raw collapse, and how did routine hospital trip turn into a public unraveling? Welcome to an alleged deep dive into Diddy's prison saga, pieced together from legal filings, insider leaks, and jailhouse whispers, all for your entertainment. So let's unravel this high-stakes drama and see what's breaking behind bars. When Diddy was taken to the hospital, he was actually relieved. It was the first time he got to leave jail in a very long time.
P. Diddy was taken to a Brooklyn hospital from MDC. MDC is the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. It's where Diddy's been held since his arrest back in September. His team has tried multiple times for bail, but it's always been denied. So that's where Diddy has been for months now, but last week he was taken to the hospital. According to reports from the New York Post, Diddy was transported from MDC in the cover of darkness at about 10 p.m. on January 30th. He was taken to a Brooklyn hospital for an MRI after reporting issues with his knee. This actually isn't the first time we've heard about Diddy's knee either. He's apparently had problems with it since 2003 when he ran the New York Marathon. He even had multiple knee surgeries back in 2017. In a now deleted Instagram post, Diddy shared this photo and wrote, quote, "Just had my final knee surgery. They said I'd never run again. I said the devil is a liar, 2 exclamation points. 3 surgeries in 1 year. Third time's a charm, 3 exclamation points. Hashtag rebirth. Don't take the simple things in life for granted. Thank you to all the surgeons and docs and PTs. I thank God for y'all. And hashtag team love, hashtag thank you, hashtag God is the greatest." He also wrote, quote, "God puts us all through things for a reason. It's up to us to learn through the things that he puts us through. Sometimes you have to go through the pain to get to the joy. This journey has brought me closer to God, closer to my family, and most importantly, closer to myself, as this has been God's will." So apparently Diddy's knee has been bothering him recently, so he reported it. At some point, it was decided that he needed medical care outside of the jail, so he was taken to a Brooklyn hospital. He was only gone for a couple of hours and came straight back to MDC after his MRI was finished. Diddy's attorney Mark Agnifilo told TMZ, quote, "I cannot comment on anything related to prisoner movements. Also, I'm not commenting on anything related to possible medical issues." A statement from the Federal Bureau of Prisons was released too. It says, quote, "For privacy, safety, and security reasons, we do not comment on the conditions of confinement for anyone in our custody, to include medical status or medical trips."
But the hospital visit didn't exactly go his way. It seems like he was expecting to be out of prison for longer. And when he was finally taken back, he allegedly had a huge meltdown. But let's go back to the beginning. Why was he so desperate to go to the hospital in the first place? Diddy's descent hit the lowest low after federal agents stormed his Los Angeles and Miami homes as part of a trafficking investigation that flipped his life upside down. Homeland Security nabbed him at a Manhattan hotel, slapping cuffs on the mogul who'd built a $1 billion fortune on hits like Bad Boy for Life.
Breaking news tonight, Sean "Diddy" Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment. Joining us now is CNN's entertainment reporter Elizabeth Wagmeister, and also with us CNN chief legal correspondent Ellie Honig. Elizabeth, you were a big part of revealing some details about Diddy's conduct in private over the course of the last couple of months. That video led to a lot more scrutiny on what he has been accused of. What do we know at this point about what this case might ultimately be about?
Abby, at the moment, we don't know what the charges are. I have information that he was arrested tonight at a Manhattan hotel. He is currently being processed. I heard from his attorney they are still maintaining his innocence. They said that in anticipation of these charges that Diddy relocated to New York last week. And here's a statement that I have from his attorney. He says, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office." He goes on to say that he is an imperfect person, but is not criminal. Now, Abby, that video that you just spoke about was a few months ago when our team broke this disturbing video of Diddy violently assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, better known as the singer, her stage name, Cassie. Now, up until this point, when we broke this video, Diddy had denied the allegations against him. Cassie is one of 10 civil suits against Diddy, 9 of which he is accused directly of assault. Up until that video, he denied everything. After that video came out, he changed his tone. He apologized for his conduct in that video. But I have to tell you, Abby, just as of last week, a former member of Danity Kane, which was one of the bands from Making the Band, Diddy's show that was on MTV, she sued him for sexual assault and other disturbing allegations, and he denied that. So he continues the denials, and he still maintains his innocence, even though he has been arrested tonight.
And brands like Sean John. He's been locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn ever since. And he's already denied bail several times. First when his $50 million bond pitch flopped, then again when Judge Andrew Carter shot down his appeal, citing flight risk and witness tampering fears. Lawsuits from his ex-nanny Jane Roe, producer Gina Huyn, and others piled on. He's facing claims of SA, forced labor, and trafficking that he's called baseless through his lawyer Mark Agnifilo to TMZ. But it's inside MDC where Diddy's facade cracked, a hospital dash exposing a man on the edge. The hospital trip started with knee pains, serious enough that MDC staff rushed him out for tests. He'd been griping about jail food, his legal team told Rolling Stone, arguing that it was tanking his health. Sources close to the case say that he'd lost weight, his 6'2" frame shrinking under the strain of concrete walls and a 23-hour lockdown. Doctors ran their checks and cleared him to return. But when police escorted him back to MDC, the dam broke. Insiders told the Shade Room that he lost it. He was sobbing, shaking, and had a full-on breakdown as reality sank in. There was no luxury escape for him, just a 6x8 cell with a steel bunk and a shared toilet. One leak claimed that he was bawling like a baby. He was bawling like a baby, a fall from grace that's got fans and foes buzzing. MDC is no picnic. It's a notoriously terrible jail, home to about 1,700 inmates. Previous prisoners include Ghislaine Maxwell and R. Kelly, and the place is plagued by understaffing and violence. Diddy's team begged for house arrest, offering his $48 million Star Island mansion as collateral, but the feds painted him as a danger, citing a jail call where he allegedly mused about going on the run to his jet-owning pal in Antigua.
Media mogul pleading not guilty to multiple charges of racketeering and trafficking.
And today, he will be back in court trying to get released on bail. Local 10's Trent Kelly is live near Diddy's residence in Miami Beach with the developing details. Trent.
Yeah, that's right, Alexis. In fact, for the second day in a row now, Sean Diddy Combs is spending his day in a New York City jail cell rather than sitting here at his Star Island mansion. That's after a judge yesterday denied his legal team's request for a $50 million bond. That issue expected to come up again later today during a bond appeal hearing, and it comes as we now hear from a former assistant to the music megastar.
I feel that justice has been served.
New reaction from a former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, who remains in a New York City jail after a judge denied a $50 million bond proposal yesterday. Combs expected back in court today for a second bond hearing.
No matter what island you can go slink off to, or no matter who you can pay off, it's not working this time, and justice is actually being served. It took a while, but it is being served.
Prosecutors told the court that he'd tried to extort witnesses too. He allegedly did this through texts and calls from behind bars, pushing his kids and staff to spin his story online. His lawyers fired back to Billboard, calling it mischaracterized. He's just a dad rallying support. But Judge Carter wasn't swayed. Back at MDC, Diddy is stuck with roaches, mold, and a diet that his attorney says is barely edible. A far cry from the Ciroc-soaked yacht days. Diddy's alleged breakdown wasn't quiet. Guards and inmates supposedly saw it. Leaks hitting X and Page 6 fast. Diddy cried like a punk when they dragged him back, one post taunted, while another mused, man's facing life, I'd cry too. He's not just any inmate. He's got 7 kids, a $1 billion net worth, and a legacy of Grammys. But now, he's unraveling in a place where clout means nothing. His legal team is scrambling, filing motions about inhumane conditions and claiming that MDC is screwing with his defense prep. They've got laptops seized from his homes, packed with what prosecutors call evidence of a criminal enterprise, videos, texts, party logs. But Diddy's crew insists that it's all hype, no proof. Still, the hospital exit cracked his armor, a moment that fans can't unsee. Rewind, and Diddy's empire was untouchable. His label launched Biggie Smalls, and he threw white parties in the Hamptons and rubbed elbows with Steve Harvey and Jay-Z. Steve is sweating now, distancing himself from Diddy as the raids tie their yacht days to this mess. But Diddy's implosion is solo. He's not new to heat. He was acquitted in a 1999 nightclub shooting and dodged jail after a 2001 bribery flap. But this trafficking probe is different. Jane Roe's lawsuit says that he forced her into acts at those freak-off parties. Gina claims that he locked her in a studio, and a Jane Doe tied him to a 2000 VMA after-party SA with Jay-Z, a case shredding his rep even as he denied it to Variety. The hospital was his breather. Clean sheets, real food, until cops yanked him back, and the tears flowed. What broke him? Insiders say that it's the weight, facing life if convicted. His kids, Justin and Christian, cuffed during the raids. His ex, Cassie's silence after her own harm claims were settled out of court. A source told In Touch that he's not built for this, and that he thought he'd skate again. MDC is a pressure cooker. Diddy has no privacy, and his current place of residence is a far cry from his $60 million Holmby Hills pad. His lawyers told CNN that he's focused on his defense, but that hospital snap shows a man crumbling. Guards had to calm him, according to The Sun. No special treatment, just protocol. While his team spun it as human, not weak. Fans are split. Some mock that Diddy can't handle the block. Others see a dad scared for his legacy. The legal fight is brutal. Prosecutors say that he ran a criminal enterprise for years, trafficking women across state lines, backed by a grand jury indictment. His Jet's Antigua hop didn't help either. The feds tracked it, screaming flight risk to the judge. Diddy countered, offering to ditch his passport and wear an ankle monitor, but bail's a no-go. His breakdown is a footnote to them, proof that he's cracking under the pressure they've piled on. Jay-Z's in the mix too. He had to fight that VMA suit, his lawyer slamming Jane Doe's holes like Good Charlotte's Midwest tour, debunking her tale. The lawsuit has since been dismissed, but the overlap between Jay-Z and Diddy still seems worrying. Inside MDC, Diddy is adjusting. Or not. He's got no VIP wing. Reportedly, he shares a dorm with 20 others and gets an hour outside daily if lucky. His team has filed for better food, citing dietary distress, but the judge hasn't budged. A jail source told Radar Online that Diddy is a shell and that hospital trip was his last taste of freedom. He's scribbling rhymes per people, plotting a comeback, but the tears tell another story. Fear, not fight. His kids are posting Free Puffy. Christian's Instagram is a rallying cry, but Diddy is alone. No yacht, no Ciroc, just a bunk and a breakdown that's gone viral. Zoom out, and it's a fall from grace. Diddy's crash is public, messy, and raw. This is all alleged, scraped from court documents, jail leaks, and tabloid buzz. But what do you guys think? Do you believe this story? Did the hospital break Diddy? Why did he allegedly react so badly when he had to return? He's not talking. His lawyer is the voice. But those tears scream louder than any denial. Fans debate, he's done, versus he'll bounce back. What's real? Guilt, despair, or just a bad day? You tell me. Did Diddy crack under the cuffs? Or is this his Oscar reel? Let me know in the comments below.